Yeah.
Looking over here, and yep.
We're good?
Mm-hmm.
We're rolling?
Yes.
Who we rolling with?
Who we rolling with?
Yeah, no, we're gonna start off with something difficult. Just
Okay.
say your name and tell us who you are.
Okay.
And you're just looking at me.
So never look in the camera.
Not, you know what? If you have a point, like when you were talking, and you feel like you want to make it to the audience, I
Oh,
don't
got
mind
it.
you
So
doing
that's
that.
like when I
But
say
pretty much,
it's bigger, like
that's
something like
exactly-
that. It's like I'm directing it. Okay.
yeah.
Learning these
But
things as we
mainly,
go.
You gotta look at my ugly mug. I'm
Sorry, his face
I
was
gotta,
killing
that
off.
means I gotta take it further away so I can't see it.
That's crazy. All right. So take two. Action.
You
Ready.
can just tell yes.
Holy crap.
Tell us your name.
My name is Rilla. I'm an artist from the Bronx, and I got my name from running with
Hold on, before you even get in there, just keep this just really tight. Just I'm not gonna, I'm an art, an artist from the Bronx. That's perfect.
Okay.
One more time, go.
You gotta say it so it can seem natural. Ask me.
Okay. Tell me who you are.
My name is Rilla. I'm an artist from the Bronx, and I'm into making a difference in my community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, tell me about the name.
The name.
Hold on. Sorry. Tell me about the name.
The name Rock. It actually came from me being teased, like Rockhead and stuff like that, and then it just became from me being this big old rock. I was the oldest of 7 kids, so I really just held a lot of things in all of the time. So I was really like a rock, and then Rilla came from me actually having like caveman ways, so being like this big old gorilla. You know what I mean? So I just cut it short and just made it like Rock Rilla, because because of me being teased and me being a big old gorilla. You know what I mean? Like, so I just kind of merged those two things together. But yeah.
Also, being a rock, you probably being a rock for your family as well.
Yeah, definitely. Man.
Tell me about growing up and how you came into being a rapper. Or when did you start rapping?
I started rapping about, say, 9, 10 years old, and it was just an outlet, I guess, for me to like, because I wasn't a big talker. I didn't really like telling people things that went on in the home, so I would just write about it. And I remember like my mom first found like my first rap book, and she was really, really surprised. Like, this is what's going on up there? You know what I mean? So it was just my way to communicate and cope with things I was going through. But they had a block party when I was 10 years old in my neighborhood in Ghost Town, and that was like a big thing around there. So they shut the blocks off, and everybody comes out, and they was doing this musical performances this year, and everybody knew I rap. So they was like, you gotta be in the show this year, and I was scared to death, but I did it. And I think it was because I was 10 years old, they went crazy for me, but they went crazy for me. And I just fell in love with that moment, and ever since then, I just kept chasing, that high, man,
And did that help? How did that then help you? Did that make you feel confident? Like you said, you were bullied a little bit. And
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Or what does rap and what does music mean to you?
Music is like everything to me. Like, music is how I see things, how I view things, organically. So music is my life. Like I said, I communicated through it. So when I went through bullying and went through name calling, like, that's how I would come back at those people that was doing it to me. You know what I mean? Through my music. But it definitely helped, because if I didn't have somewhere to put it, I don't know where that energy could have went. So it was like a great outlet, And that's what aggressive style comes from, because believe it or not, I did that performance, but I was like a battle rapper, if you know what that is. Like, so this is when like battle rapping was coming up, and I was into like that aggressive style, like, yo, I'll rip your head off. And people was like, yo, you good, you should start making songs, because you're killing people out here doing this, but that's what aggressiveness comes from.
So tell me what that type of rap is.
That type of rap is,
Say what kind of rap it is.
so,
What would you
say it again.
Combat
Wait,
rap? Or
combat?
Or what did you call it?
What, like, no, like battle rap.
Battle rap.
That
thank
was
you,
battle
combat.
That's
That
I'm not sure. So I used to be down. Now I'm just lame.
It's all right.
I actually interviewed Eric B.
Drill
and
rap.
Rakim
But see-
back in the day.
But yeah, battle rap and drill rap is like, so drill rap.
Hold on.
Oh,
Just give us a
sorry.
little, if you don't mind. Just
Okay.
give us a little a rap education.
Okay, so battle rap was basically like a boxing match between two artists. You know what I mean? And it's like how can I break you down the best way possible, just using words? You know what I mean? And I get to say all of these vile, vulgar things to you, and while everybody's, and you have to sit there and take it. The hardest part about battle rap is not actually rapping, it's standing there while somebody's saying that to you. Because sometimes it gets personal. So if the person kind of knows you, they do their research before the battle, and it's like, bet you ain't know that your baby mother was at this party or something like that, and now you're finding out crazy things on stage, and it's like, your face is what gets him more points, because they can tell if it's organic, like, oh, that's true. So battle rap, the hardest part of that is standing there and taking it, but it feels good. It just really feels good.
So
And what
play
you-
into the fact that there's some hate in
Right,
that.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
when you were doing that, were you conscious about that, or was there a line that even you wouldn't cross when you were
Yeah.
spitting?
I would call it like, it was like a safe way, and I don't mean to sound like off, but it was like a safe way, I guess, to like express my pain and maybe even hurt somebody that was willing to stand in front of me. So being that I couldn't go out and physically hurt somebody or attack the people that was hurting me at that time, and you chose to battle me, I was gonna make you feel that and take those demons out and put them on that, in that performance and get my point across,
So battle rapping on the big screen, even like the Biggie and Tupac and all of that, these are like examples of battle rapping a little bit, but in a professional way.
Well, I feel like Biggie and Tupac was more examples of early drill rap, because drill rap is a direct diss. So a broad statement is like, yo, if a dude run up on me, you gonna get it. You know what I mean? That's anybody. But saying, yo, if I see Will, I'm gunning him down. Like, I don't know Will. So as a person just listening to your song, I don't really even know what's going on right now. You know what I mean? Because this is a direct message to a direct gang or person. You know what I mean? So it's more so for that person or their community to indulge in it. You know what I mean? So anybody else who falls in love with that is just, they fall in love with the person and not more so the song, because you can't really relate to it because it doesn't pertain to a broader audience. It's one person. Yeah.
Like, I know,
How does that make it hateful? Like, how does that incite the hate in that community?
Well, for one, you have to look at the age category of
Say
who.
hate.
So I feel like the hate of the music and the energy of it, it conjures up like a lot of emotions inside of you, and you can even see it. Like if you watch a kid that listens to a drill song, like immediately, like they can, it's like you can't even control the moves. You just be like all over the place. It's something about those instruments, the way it's engineered, like it's designed to kind of get you to be like that. And these kids that's taking drugs, drinking, and they doing this all day, you kind of become like a goblin, like a goon, you know what I mean? And that's just like your way of moving and thinking, And I feel like first and foremost, it's crazy and absurd because of the age limit, the age category of who's saying it. This is 17 and 18-year-old kids talking about 4 or 5 dead kids in 3 minutes. These are probably active investigations, cold cases, and they laughing about it. They got his face on a picture of a weed packet, and this is somebody's kid, this is somebody's son. So I couldn't imagine losing my son. First off, I'm devastated, and then hearing DJ such and such play a song where kids are celebrating my son's death, and they all in the crowd laughing about it. And so it is a bittersweet genre of our culture, but.
So do you feel rappers have a responsibility then to,
Oh, absolutely.
talk a little bit about that and get us into, how you've done that and helped the community, and let's get into some of your music that you've
Absolutely.
done specifically.
I feel like we have the biggest responsibility as artists and to the community and to the youth, because what we say, they soak up like a sponge. And a lot of these kids don't have role models or father figures in the home, so they're already looking for like images, people that they idolize and that they know they're gonna look like or they wanna dress like or be like. And besides the fact that I idolize how you look, now I'm gonna listen to what you say because I wanna talk like you, I wanna be like you, so I'm gonna almost like mimic the same thoughts and aspirations as you. So when you're talking, I'm soaking that in, and now I'm saying it back out. So now it becomes my thing, you know what I mean? So who you have beef with, I got beef with. If you GDK, I'm GDK. I don't even know a GD, but Fabio forming GDK, so I'm GDK. You know what I mean? So it's like almost like you're recruiting like a hate group, almost like a cult without even trying, just because of how you feel. So your one message like creates a ripple, and you attract all of these people who have these like emotions, because all it is just hate and anger. But now we have somebody to direct it to. We're going to direct it to the GDs. We're going to direct it to the YGs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is years and years of suppression and anger, but now it's being directed to just 10 black kids. And that's a lot. That's a lot. You know, especially when we in a 3-block radius. It's a war zone now, you know?
So what have you, so what have you specifically done now? Tell us a little bit about your music and the bigger,
Bigger than that.
Yeah.
Wait, hold
Yeah.
on.
Do you want to talk about any influences for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before
I
we even get
actually
into
just did a
that,
song
'cause
for
you
one of
just-
mine.
What's that?
I just did a song for my biggest influencer, J. Cole. So I got this record called Never Let J. Cole Down, and it's so dope. It's so dope.
Can you, tell us a little bit.
So J. Cole, man,
What's that?
J. Cole was a super influence for me. You know what I mean? Super role model. And I always loved his style because he was organic and he was original. No matter how much money J. Cole has, he'd come out with a big old white t-shirt, hair all messy. Like, he was never into doing it for the material things. But what I loved about him was his message. Like, I really read in between the lines. I wasn't listening to the beat. I just listened to what he was saying. And if you listen to what he's saying, it's almost gospel. You know what I mean? It's gospel. So when I look at an artist like that, being that I'm an artist, to me, you're like a prophet. You know what I mean? Because music is like a religion to me. So, like, you're like a prophet, not like somebody who just stands on the corner with a microphone. Like, you are a prophet. So I wrote this record called Never Let J. Cole Down. And in that record, I'm just highlighting, him and, how I've been following his footsteps and trying to, emulate, what's the right way to say that? Emulate is
Yeah,
like,
that's
just
perfect.
emulate your work, you know what I mean? And yeah, but
And like what I like about him too, he's a real storyteller, right?
absolutely.
So he takes you on a journey with
He does. I should add that I really got into J. Cole a lot more when I was incarcerated. So I did spend 7 years incarcerated. And one thing about a prisoner that listens to music is it becomes like your life because you're sitting in there and you looking for hope. You looking for words that could give you like energy and that's one of those tapes that I just had on repeat while I was in that hole, man. So I listened to him in a different environment. So that's probably why it's different as well. Listening to him in a nightclub and then listening to him with 8 months in the hole was a little different, like. So I pull from him to be able to actually write as well. Because sometimes other artists inspire you. So like if I listen to a bunch of K-Fly, it might make me want to drill and write some dark things. If I listen to J. Cole, it'll pull something intellectual out of me and make me think bigger. It like opens a portal for me, So I channel certain artists when I want to write certain music. I definitely do that.
So I know I just wanted to talk a little bit more or whatever you want to share just about the challenges that you faced, growing up. So you started at 10, you had the success, and then do you want to just fill us in a little bit in terms of just, what it was like growing up for you, and then how you remained so optimistic when obviously, you had some hard times.
Absolutely. So I'm from this place called Ghost Town, and if it's not like a thing. It's like if you're from the Bronx, like everyone knows, like whatever. So I'm from this place called Ghost Town, and that's really what it's about. Nobody comes there. A lot of people don't make it out. You know what I mean? There's no like real resources over there. So I had the cards really stacked against me, just off of that. Like I said, I was the oldest of 7, so I would wake up, to a note with $40 cash. Hey, feed your brothers and sisters. I got to work. I got 2 classes at night. Be home by 10. And I'm looking at 7 kids, and I'm like 13. You know what I mean? So it was a lot. So I had those kind of and I'm not slighting my mom because it made me the man that I am today. It made me a rock. You know what I mean? So I'm happy I was able to help her. She ended up getting a bachelor's and master's. So yeah, it worked. But growing up in my neighborhood, it definitely turned me into like this angel demon, if I can say that, because it made me like feel so bad for people from that kind of environment because I got to see poverty, I got to see addiction. My boy's mom, coming in every day high and it's no food in their house. Like we hear it in music, but I was one of those kids that got to see that, and. So that made me an angel now as an adult because now I have a special heart for people in that condition. But it made me a demon as well because it was like, why me? You know what I mean? Like, why am I going through this? When's somebody gonna save me? So like I said, that's where music comes in at. And I didn't know who to tell it to, because everybody's going through the same problem. Everybody's going through the same pain. That's like being in prison and crying about prison time. Like, yo, I want to go home. 100 guys is looking at you like, come on, brother. You know, we all holding it in, so you have to. So that was, you know, my way of communicating it. And to follow up on your question, right? Bigger than that. That's what everybody's been asking me about. What is bigger than that? Man, bigger than that is basically what it stands for. Like, if somebody lends you $5 and I tell you I'm gonna give you the $5 tomorrow, never call you back, and someone asks you how you feel, and you tell them, oh, I'm pissed off, man, this guy jerked me, and it's like, yo, it's only $5. We always say, yo, it's bigger than that. It's the principle. It's the thought, you know what I mean? It's the sacrifice. If I was able to do it for you, why you couldn't do it for me? You know what I mean? So that's like the message that I always preach to the youth. Like, yo, it's so much bigger than what we fall victim to. Y'all stand on these corners and y'all die on these corners, and nobody owns these blocks. You know what I mean? Like, there's no trophy for the things that we throw our lives away for. It's so much bigger than what we subject ourselves to. So I wanted to use a record to facilitate that message throughout the country if I could, and talk to these kids and let them know that it is an exit and a reentry, you know, strategy to what I have to offer. And if they're willing to listen, I can show them. You know, if I made it out of that fire, I promise you, I've heard it all my life watching TV, and it's like, oh, I made it, you can make it. I'm telling you, it's a way out. And if I made it, I promise you they can. So, yeah.
That's great.
Thanks.
Boy, what does I'm just trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
Did music help you through? I mean, obviously, you said listening to, which is amazing. Like, you're right, it's your perspective of where you're listening to that music. I just wondering, does that help you? Had that help you keep optimistic?
Music? Oh, absolutely. Because music is weird. Like, you can be broke and be writing about how you driving in your $1 million Ferrari, right? And I think that was like the cool thing I loved about music. Like, sometimes I would laugh at myself because I was like, yo, you a liar, man. But what I was telling myself was that I'm manifesting these things. By the time this album drops, 10 years from now, I'll have these things and it'll all line up. So I like almost manifested the things that I wanted in my life by writing it and saying it every day. Like, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have a nice chain, I'm gonna have the nice rings and the watches, and, you know, like all of these things that I have now, I didn't have when I was writing my music. So to have them now means that it had to have some kind of power to it, you know?
And then tell me.
Play on hate with that, and writing things and saying things and having power. Like, bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you maybe just talk to how that have you been touched specifically with hate, like either in the people that you mentor or yourself, and has that made, because there was one song you had that said, or maybe it wasn't so, but the hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hated.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a specific song?
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you maybe just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I feel like so if we're talking about hate, right? I feel like hate to me is just like wait, can we start over? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, go keep.
Yeah, because I got caught. You made me think about something, and it just I went on a spiral. But so we're gonna like just to fast track it. We want to function where.
No, just tell me about when I was looking, when I was doing my due diligence about you. First of all, I think you're amazing, and I think that song was really great. I'm not just blowing smoke, and this is really important. But I saw something that said to hate it, and then you tell people to stop hate.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it important for you to rap about hate?
It's important to rap about hate because I held it in my heart for a long time. Like, to this day, if you look at my my Instagram, I always like use black hearts. I mostly wear black. Like, when people see me do laundry, they wear it out. They just look at the table like, sir, you have 9 pair of black jeans, 14 black shirts, but they different to me. Every outfit is different. So, but it's not like a dark thing. I don't like worship the devil, nothing. You know what? I just feel like black has power and it's durable, you know? But so I tell people not to hold hate now. I used to promote it. In a way where it was like, yo, if you angry, it's a right to lash out. It's a right to go hurt somebody that hurt you. You know what I mean? But now I let people know that forgiving someone like is almost for you more than for them. You know what I mean? Like when you forgive someone, it's almost like you're taking that poison out of you and, you know, disposing of it. Because like for somebody to walk in the room, like we're having a great time right now, and I hate this guy, E, right? And E walks in this room right now, and as soon as he walks in, I shut down. My emotions change. I'm mad. My hands are sweaty now. You have too much power over me, and it's because of the hate that I'm holding for you. So if I just say, you know what, I don't even hate you, even if I call you a joker, like, yo, you a joker, man. I really don't even hate you. Whatever you did, it is what it is. You lost out on a great individual. I'm great now. So now when you walk in the room, you expect to get this energy. I'm still laughing, having a good time, and now you in the background, bitter, because you lost that power over me. You know what I mean? So I try to teach kids that, like, yo, that's power, man, that you have. And it's power that you also relinquish when you hate somebody. So, yeah. We good.
That was amazing.
I show kids that you can have it, but you don't have to. Because, like, first and foremost, when I started at Exodus, a lot of people didn't even know what this was when we started the music component, right?
Nobody even knows what Exodus is, so tell me what Exodus is.
Yeah.
Oh, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the tape.
Okay, so Exodus Transitional Community is an agency Exodus Transitional Community is an agency who, damn, I need that one word. I'm gonna get the one word. So,
is it transitional community for people between the community or?
I wrote the question. Was gonna ask, what is Exodus?
Oh, so
How does it help you in?
Okay.
And speak.
So Exodus Transitional Community is an agency that caters to justice impacted individuals in the prison system or at risk in the community.
Say that again, real clear.
So-
Just
hold it, stop. This guy's fantastic.
Rob?
What you mean?
Just a man.
You might give me a raise next year. I say next year because, you know,
Let's
we're
fix
still
the hat a
working.
little bit, though. You change the hat. Bring it down a little bit on top. I don't want yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is he making me look good? Because I told him
Yes.
everything you know.
Whatever. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. Big it
Coming
up.
to my house with a shotgun last night was enough, Jugga. All right, so Exodus Transitional Community is an agency that caters to justice impacted individuals in the prison system or at risk in the community. So for the prison aspect, I'm a facilitator in RNDC, for example. I'm a facilitator in the youth. I'm a facilitator in RNDC, which is the facility for the youth 18 to 21. They have a music studio in there. It's called the Peace Center. And I go there with my co-host, Eric, who's actually the DJ and engineer for Exodus. And we teach them how to mix and master, as well as allow them to record their own music. And then we facilitate to them. So, you know, we give them, and then, you know, it's like a give and take type of thing, you know? So, yeah, that's what Exodus Transitional does. Exodus Productions is more so like the music lane of what Exodus offers. So we know that a lot of kids is into music. They might not be into therapeutic classes. They might not be into a wellness program. But if I say, y'all got a multi-media studio upstairs, that might get you in the building. And that's kind of what it is. It's like just putting candy on the floor. Like, it's like a trap. And we say that openly in these kind of conversations because that's what we want to do. We just want to get you in the building because what we have to offer you is so much bigger than just the studio. But we know that this is like the barter. Get you in, show you this, but say, hey, if you want to keep this, you know, we might have to facilitate and learn something once or twice a week. Is that cool? Can we go on a trip? Can I take you somewhere? Can I, you know, did you eat today? Let's go get some food. And as we keep pouring into them, eventually they just become a part of the fabric here and want to be here. You know, they don't want to leave because a lot of them don't get that in their environments or at home. So when they come here, it's almost weird at first, but then it's like, damn, it's like a community in a community, you know?
It's hands-on, and then you provide mentorship too, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's my baby right there. So that's what I wake up in the morning to do. I start off in Rikers from like 8 to 1, and I facilitate to the brothers inside the youth, and then I come back here and I run a mentor program through Exodus, and I mentor and record with the kids in the community for free. And we do some amazing things. I have like talent shows, drill summits, to where we bring all of these drill rappers from different boroughs, and we have peaceful shows to where, you know, you guys can all come and perform and hang out, and it works. It works. This is a no color zone, and they respect me because I'm not just a facilitator. I'm somebody who has a past as well as being a creator of some of the madness that's going on. You know, so now that I took a step back, some people actually respect it, you know what I mean? Because they want to do it as well, but they're not brave enough or have the status to say, yo, I'm done. Like, oh, I don't want to do this no more. So if Gotti says I don't want to be a mobster no more, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys will follow his footsteps and be like, yeah, maybe I don't want to either. But it's hard, you know, for a runner to just say, yo, let's all walk away from this. You look crazy. But if the top guy says it, a lot of people come with you, believe it or not.
Put that into the hate space, like.
And
You know, it's great.
so and I, you know, I was able to walk away from what I walked away from, and a lot of people still probably think I'm crazy because it's power, it's respect, it's money, it's girls. You know what I mean? It's an army, almost. You know, but I was able to walk away from it because I started to see the hate in it, and I didn't. When I you know, signed up, I was a very hateful person at that time because I was hurt. You know what I mean? So I needed a way to channel that. But as I grew and started to have kids and a family, and I started to love life. Like, I had a son now, and my son was gonna grow up to look like somebody who I probably hated 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I started to see things different. I had a daughter. So now I started to say, damn, like, this is gonna be somebody's gonna date my daughter. Like, now I felt different about women. Like, so I was growing as a man. And as I was going through this transition, it was still all this hate around me. And it was like, it was distasteful to a sense, you know? And I kind of outgrew it. And I just walked away, you know? And like I said, a lot of people came with me. A lot of people are still on the fence. But the hardest thing in the world to do is be a gangster all day. Like, nobody wants to walk around like this all day. Like, we do it, but trust me, when everybody goes away and the door closes, it's like, take the hat off, you take off the chains, put the gun on the table. It's like you get to be yourself again, and that's who your family gets to see. So you kind of sometimes just want to stay in that road, man. And there's nothing wrong with it, you know?
How do you educate yourself to break that cycle? What do you think is a suggestion for people who might see this? Educate yourself, break that cycle.
To break that cycle, the best way I would say for a person to break that cycle, believe it or not, it has to kind of come from within, because you can't like fake it. It has to be genuine. But the best way is to just compare and contrast. You know what I mean? Let's use a pro and a con. The things that you're around, you know, is it beneficial? Like, if it, let's put it like this: if you have kids, if your son was in this, standing right next to you, would you be proud? Would it be acceptable for him to listen to the things that's being said, for him to see the type of violent things that, you know, you may take diligence in? Like, would you be proud to do it in front of him? If your daughter wanted to tag along in a day of drilling, would you take on for one of those rides? Would you be proud to say, this is what daddy do from 9 to 5 and come home and don't tell you how I get the money, but this is where that money come from for that PS5 or for them nice Jordans I just bought you. This is what daddy do. I rob people, I shoot people, I sell drugs. You wouldn't be proud. So whatever you can't do in front of your kid, it ain't worthy. I can bring my kids here every day and it's like smiles on their cheeks. From the time they come to the time they leave, they're proud of me. I was ashamed to bring them around my friends. I was ashamed to bring them around people that I associated with because I wasn't proud. It was just something I was stuck in, you know? So once I found the way to get out that mousetrap, it was like, oh, you know, I kicked it further away from me, so. And there's no, like I said, I'm not slighting anybody. It's just like, it was just something that I just, you know, kind of outgrew personally.
Did you guys get classes about this in your jail time? Like, you know, when you were incarcerated, was there any, you know, structured way of kind of helping breaking the hate? Like the program that you guys made, was there something like that already? Or
No, besides like drug programs or anger management programs, I could say anger management programs, they kind of help to an extent, but it's like the people who facilitate it is not really from your background. So as a gangbanger, it's always hard to talk to somebody that's never walked my plight. So me, being an ex-gang member, when I come into a facility and you know who I am, you read paperwork probably with my name in it, you know what I mean? It's easy for this, you can't say I don't know what you're going through. You can't say I can't relate. I was the dishwasher, I was the bus boy, I was the manager, I was the CEO. Like, I went through that whole process, bro. So you can never say I don't know what you're going through. So now at this point, you just gotta kind of listen to me and take the jewels and throw away what you don't want to keep, you know?
I had just read about Exodus. Exodus tries to reach out and get people while there's, you know, to think about what life's gonna be outside, right?
Absolutely.
So is that part of the Rikers thing you talked about? Is that what do you do
So
as well?
what I go to Rikers with some great individuals on a grant called titled LFR. LFR stands for Live from Rikers. Live from Rikers plays into the fact that we're in a podcast studio inside the jail. We can't broadcast it yet, but hey, we live in there, and we making music, we recording great conversations, and we have a blast, and it's like the greatest redemption to walk in there and walk out every day knowing that I came in as like a prisoner, an animal, and now I come in to bring light, to put out fires, and I'm humbled to be in that position, and to go back to Exodus being in the facilities, right? It works because I found out about Exodus in a prison facility, right? So I'm just coming down from like Clinton, which is like 9 hours away, an hour away from Canada, and they got me in like Queensboro, which is in Queens. It's the first time I've been this close to my family in like over 7 years. So I'm like getting visits every day, I'm having the time of my life, but I'm also realizing the fact that like, yo, I'm about to actually go home. Like I'm like 2-3 months away. So now I'm like scared to death, believe it or not. I'm not sleeping at night. I can hear the sirens outside now. I can just hear the commotion. I can smell the hot dogs. Promise you. So now I was like fake panicking, like, damn, what am I gonna do? And I'm like going to the gym one day inside the facility, and I start seeing these like Exodus Phoenix birds everywhere. I'm like, what the heck is this stuff, man? Like, and it was a workshop. So in order to go though, you had to sign your name on the sheet in the house, and nobody likes to put their real name. Like if I tell you my name is Murder, that's my name. You better not call me John. I didn't want to put my real name on that paper because everybody would know that I was going to a program. And they kind of rank on you sometimes in prison for that. Like, oh, your man's trying to get his life together. Like, okay. Like that's a joke or something, right? And I signed up. I'm about to go home, I don't care. And I go into this classroom, man, and then I see all of these black and brown brothers coming in, suited up, smelling like $100 cologne. And it felt good, man, because every brother I seen in the last 7 years has been in uniform or greens. You know what I mean? So it was different. And, they were saying some super positive things. And they told me that they really had a plan for me. And for some reason, I believed them. And they gave me this card, and they was like, yo, this is like your Willy Wonka ticket. In order to get the prize, you got to bring it back to Exodus. And my first day home, I had a motorcade pull up, like 3-4 cars, Ferrari, Mercedes, that whole thing. All the bros out there with champagne. And I told them that I had to take care of something really important before we started this parade. And they was looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, yo, I got to go to this thing called Exodus on 2/5, but it's going to be fast, I promise. I came here, I signed up for all of the programs they had. And ever since that day, I've been here planted in the soil, and it worked. So for me to find out about Exodus as a detainee and now be a facilitator in a prison is just like the weirdest 360, so yeah, it works.
It's great, an amazing success story for it.
Absolutely. So I'm humbled,
Just, you had mentioned to us before we even started talking about this violence interrupter. I'm just curious about what that is, what that means.
All right, so a violence interrupter is not the same as like a cop, like it's somebody like a negotiator who could take a vest off and say, yo, I'm coming in. Like I have kind of like that green, that free pass, you know what I mean, to walk into certain projects or to walk into a unit where everybody got like weapons in their hand, they're ready to go, and they will still, put it down and talk to me because we relate. So I walk into these units and these projects, and I interrupt violence that I know is going on or that's already started, and I try to find middle ground, because if a blue and white walks into the if cops walk into a project, it's no way anybody's gonna talk to them in or out the building. You know what I mean? Like, it looks crazy. But if somebody like me walks up, we could sit down, have a conversation, and I can do things to figure it out for you. You know what I mean? Because it's all internal things. There's nothing that the police need to be involved with. You know what I mean? Like, it's all things that you say, yo, I got this issue with this guy in Brooklyn. He did this to one of my mans. I could actually go to Brooklyn now and talk to not this guy, somebody that's higher than him. And then I could, it's like the circle that I do. You know what I mean? I make all of the rounds, and then we figure something out. And we.
How do you? This is good. How does this NYPD and the mayor's office? They say they have these task force and they're trying to get in there into the community. How is this effective? Is it not effective?
Right. Did you
So-
know that
Put your hand down.
Did you know? Right.
You know?
I mean, do you
Yeah.
even know about some of the things that the city's trying to do to combat hate specifically?
Absolutely not. And I'm gonna be honest
Okay,
with you.
let's say that again. Let's say that
Yeah.
again. So just, I don't even know about, like, say it.
hmm
Defend.
I've never heard or ever seen any of these task forces in my communities. I haven't heard anything about them, and this is no slight to the mayor or the department, but every time I go there, I just see a bunch of angry faces, and I don't see nobody out there like touching the people and talking to the people and trying to engage the people and stop things. Like when they come out there, they come in to just take people away, and that's why the relationship with the department is still off because they don't come in to help. You know, they come in and just eliminate and neutralize, and that's cool for a civilian. But what about, you know, somebody who's on the other end of that spectrum, the villain? And we all know that a villain sometimes can just be a person who didn't tell their side of the story, right? So this person who feels like I'm waking up every day and my family is not eating and I'm scared for my life. I can't even walk to a store. You know what I mean? How do I make it out of there? And nobody's gonna ever walk into that project with a real solution. No cop is gonna walk in and give that guy a real solution. Me, I do. I walk in there and I tell him, listen, you wanna feed your family? I got a clean fountain for you. The only thing I ask you to do is not double dip, right? So that means at 5 o'clock you go home, you wash your ass, you go to the gym, you do anything but go back to the corner and sell dope. And that's what I did, and I stayed consistent with that, right? So I give them that, and then when it comes to the violence aspect, like I said, I use my resources and resources of other credible messengers, and we figure it out. You know, we got guys from red, blue, yellow, green, you name them, and we go around and we figure out solutions to end problems. Because whoever you got a problem with, I promise you he has a boss. And he has a boss, you understand, that may not want that problem because it does not cause anything but indictments and losses of money for them. So we show them, we're not trying to stop anything. We just want to stop the violence, you understand? So that's all I come in for.
So what's a message that you could give, like, these organizations say they're out there, they're doing it. Like, give them, tell them something. Like, if you say you're out there, what is it that you really need them to do? Like, how?
The agencies?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say to the agencies that state that they're in these communities, I would say that resources is the number one thing that our communities need. Like therapy is cool. Coming in there talking and holding rallies and stuff like that is cool. It's resources, man. These people are still hungry. These people still have no education. These people still have no way out. And some people panic, man. When you know, like, you stuck in this bubble and you're not gonna, like, you almost gonna die there, like, you become panic and you do any and everything possible to get out that bubble. Some people, believe it or not, they actually see it, and that's what they're doing out there on the corners. They're trying to get out them bubbles, man. So if you're going into these communities, offer them a real way out. Like, really try to help these brothers get back into school and educate themselves. Really get them a job where they can support their family, but not just pay taxes. Like, I'm just getting a job to give you the money right back, because it's not really helping me. Like, give me, like, resources to where I could actually help and get my family out this position, you know? And as far as the violence, I feel like task forces should go in there for safety transfers. I feel like you have to move pieces around. Like, if you see that these guys is constantly beefing, don't lock them up, move them. If they live with their mom, send them out of state. Like, offer them an opportunity to go to Florida. Offer them an opportunity to transfer their Section 8 to Albany or something. Go get a house. Like, move some of these pieces around the board, because if, like I said, if I'm from 64th and you from 65th and we beefing, it's not gonna stop till one of us is going. This is my block. So one of us gotta go. So, like, give people a way out is what I'm saying, you know?
What do you want them to look like? They claim that they go in there, right? They actually say they have support stuff. They say they give out food. We saw it. But it's not impacting on the street. It's not present. What should they look like? Should they hire you? Like, what should they really look like going into that community?
Right. Well, first and foremost, it's like I said, it's the save a con. The best way sometimes to save a con is to use a con, right? And I guess that's where I kind of fall into place. So I feel like some of those.
Before you say that, it's not just about cons. We're talking about going into the projects in Brooklyn and right here upper east side, right, or whatever. What should that task force look like to get in there and really make an impact?
Okay.
What should they wear? Who should they hire? What is it they need to walk in? Do they need like a box of food in their hand? Like, what is it that they think they're doing that they're not doing?
Okay. Well, I was gonna say like they should definitely kind of look like the people in the community for starters, and that's not to
Okay,
take
so
away.
say these agencies, boom.
Okay. Well, these agencies should definitely start with looking like the community. So if you saying you come and help me, and I got on a $20 outfit, and you got on a $1,000 suit, that we already losing each other there. You know what I mean? But so I feel like if we kind of like look similar to each other, you kind of dress down a little bit so I could kind of see you in like, you know, like a civilian type of way and not like a politician, that definitely helps. I feel like a lot of times all of the cameras is a lot because a lot of people feel like once they see cameras and lights, it's just a movie and it's just a way to make you look good. So sometimes those people should do it when nobody's looking. Believe it or not, bring a security guard with you, however you got to do it, but go into that community without a camera. I bet you if Eric Adams just walked into Marcy Projects and sat on the bench and was like, yo, what's up? First thing somebody's gonna look for is the entourage. Yo, where all the cars and the cameras at? Nah, listen, I got off the train today, I want to come over here, I used to be in this neighborhood, I want to kick it with y'all. Yo, they'll never forget that conversation or that day if he was to go out there by himself and sit in that project compared to you coming out there with 100 people with the same shirt on and signs, and it's like, oh, all right, Eric Adams, let me get my little picture but just do it when nobody's looking. You know what I mean? Come talk to them when nobody's looking. And that's first, they'll accept it more because a lot of these agencies probably do have good resources, but it's hard for people to take them. Like the story I told you about in when I seen the Exodus workshop poster. That's a great service, but it was up to me to take it and to humble myself and put my real name on that board after I just told everybody this cool gangster name I had, and now you see my real name because I wanted a program. So they have to.
Repeat your Eric Adams bit one more time, because the Exodus sign went out. That was too great.
Okay.
Just in case they want to cut that. That was
Just
great.
talking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Being without his entourage.
Yeah, so I was basically saying, like, so I feel like these agencies should definitely do things more when no one's looking. And that goes into saying, like, if Eric Adams was to go into Marcy or Butler houses without a motorcade, without 100, supporters with him, and just sit on that park bench alone, couple bottles of water, and just start a conversation with those guys and genuinely ask them, yo, how can I help you? You know what I mean? Like, what you need? Like, what you good at? What you want to improve in? You know what I mean? I promise you, every last person in that setting would take to it. But if he was to come over there, like I said, with a parade, they gonna get their selfie and they gonna keep it pushing. Because they gonna say, man, you don't care. You just saying that because the camera's on. So if you do it with nobody looking, people usually take the help. But if you do it with a bunch of people in front of you, I'm gonna always say I'm good. I got it. You know?
That's great.
We about to roll her, about to shoot her, because that's genuine right there, man. Let me give her a hug, man. I'm sorry, it'd be hurting me to talk about it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for giving me the platform, crazy. All right, there we go. Yo, Bob, can I get some water?
We just while we're on this vein, let me just ask, what do you think what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud that I'm leaving behind a legacy now for my kids, my son and my 2 daughters. She gonna make me cry. Yeah, oh, bring it back. Yeah, I used to be like a gang member, right? And now I'm considered like a national gang specialist. So for my mom, that's a big deal.
How about some goals that you've set for yourself? You hope to achieve. What?
This was so loud. I did not see this shit coming.
Man, fly.
Thanks, brother. Good. Yeah. They don't usually see me do things like
No,
this,
that's
so.
all right.
All right, but yeah, like I said, for my mom, it's a pretty big deal. My mom is like,
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, my mom is
Yeah. How about your hands too? Is that everybody? Read?
she making it worse. My family is it's weird because I don't really have men in my family, right? Like I have one of those families where it's just like 40 women to every 5 men, and it's crazy. And yeah, so I'm like, so to bring it back a little bit too, like I'm really half Native American. Like I have family that live on like in Connecticut, they live on reservations. I have cousins that go to private school just because of their bloodline. You know what I mean? It's like when some of my family members die, they get real Indian burials. So I'm really considered like a chief in my family. Like how we have a chief at Exodus, like I'm one of those sons. You know what I mean? So they're like, I can't even explain the way they look towards me. Like, you know, but it's a lot of pressure, and I take it. You know what I mean? So I do have a lot of people looking up to me. A lot of people to be conscious of. But like I said, my mom was a minister she was a minister all my life. And she used to be one of those people who would go on a train with a mic. She'd knock on your door with a pamphlet. You know what I mean? She was one of those. So for her son to be labeled as some of the things she heard, it broke her heart. And for me to like finally give her that, I promise you, man, that was the trophy. So if it all ends there tomorrow, I already won. Yeah.
Just how about some goals? Can you just talk about what's next for Rilla?
Yeah, definitely. So we just dropped the Bigger Than That campaign. So we have like some cool things coming up.
Hold on
with,
1 second. And speed.
So I was asking you what you meant by buying back your block, and then what's next for you.
Okay. Well, definitely in cash. You know what I mean? But so when I say buying back my block, like I meant that literally because I don't think Jay-Z was one of the first artists that started preaching that kind of message. Like, yo, you don't own your block, the block that you're dying for. You don't own it. And when I came to Exodus, it was the weirdest thing to see, like 9 buildings kind of owned by one African American man. And I realized it one day and was like, yo, he owns this block. Like, so this is his block. And we used to say that, like, yo, this is my block. You know, your moms live here. But this is his block. So that was how I got that inspiration. And Rich Roots, Rich Fruits is my own, nonprofit that I started 3 years ago, LLC did. And it started as a juice bar concept to give kids like a healthy alternative besides Skittles and Pepsi, right? So I'm like, yo, let me open up some. Everything is organic. We could have cartoon characters all over the walls, put some arcades in here, and give them a cool place to eat and feed them healthy things. And then it was like, well, if we're gonna feed the body, then we gotta feed the mind. So let's get another room and let's facilitate to them. Let's have a movie room. Then we gotta feed the body. Let's get a workout room. And then now it turned into this whole type of, So that was my concept for Rich Roots. And that was my idea of buying back my block, to open up a juice bar and just start spreading out and getting all of the things that I know that they need because I was there and I know what's needed. And I know what I needed at that age. So I think I would be one of the best people to kind of create a blueprint for what an inner city kid needs in his neighborhood to kind of duck a mousetrap. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And the agencies need to hire you.
I would love for the agencies to hire me because we would rewrite their whole little strategy plan, whatever they think that they're doing or whatever information they got from this kid in college. I'm telling you, he didn't really give you all of the fillers, So you probably missed a couple, but those couple that he missed, to make that connection is the important ones, So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Oh,
What's next?
No, the product.
What's next for Exodus?
Oh, so what's next for Exodus? What's next for Exodus? We have this cool barbecue cookout for Harlem coming up August.
Hold on, just
Yeah.
picking that up.
Got
Yeah,
the hells.
but it's just so, go ahead.
Got the Sons of Anarchy coming over here to stop this interview. So what's next for Exodus?
Well, Exodus Productions is even different, or a division of Exodus, right?
Absolutely.
Just maybe.
Keep it on production.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's next for Exodus?
So what's next for Exodus Productions is actually this cool event we got coming up July 1st. Excuse me, July 1st. We're doing like this big cookout for Harlem, and we got these dope performers
Hold
coming
on,
out.
That's too loud.
Yeah.
That's too loud.
George is one of the artists in Exodus who challenged me, because even though like I always had this positivity about me, but I was still rough around the edges, and you know, like even things like using the N words, you know, sometimes like it would slip in my music, and George would be like, nah, bro, you gotta take that out. Like, yo, you bigger than that, or yo, you smarter than that. Like, yo, you know, and he would challenge me, and I would get mad. Even with Chris, my manager, I would be in that booth mad. Like, he'd be like, yo, he'd tap in, like, yo, come on, bro, you gotta take that one out. And it was like, you know, but I started challenging myself. So before I even came to the session, I would make sure my song didn't have it in it, or, you know what I mean? I was conscious when I said it, but Exodus Productions definitely.
Wait, stay with that for 1 second. Let's talk about that real quick. A
Okay.
clean version. I'm a
Okay.
mom of a kid who wants to listen to every single thing, and there's no clean versions.
Right.
You know, you just said it. How can artists help better for the younger people with their music? And just
I feel like artists could definitely better the youth in our generation with music, because once you
Sorry.
put your arm down. Okay, I can't see that.
yeah,
A clean version. Get that in.
a clean version. So I feel like
Wait, don't touch your face.
so I feel like artists should definitely be more conscious of the fact of how music is viewed, man, and what it means to people. You know what I mean? Like, it becomes somebody's life. Like, you can play a song for a person, and they start talking about, you know, the anniversary night and just whatever. Like, a song is so essential to a person, but it can also be a person's, like, activator. You understand? Like, a song can really activate something in you that you didn't even know you had, but somebody else was brave enough to say it first. And you say the lyric, and you be like, you know what? I like that. Kodak Black, that's my boy. I respect him, right? He got this verse where he says, I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it. I'm a gremlin. That's one of his latest songs. We could have been superstars, but look at the lyric. And kids, or everybody can't wait to get to that part to say, I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it. A fake perk is a perk with fentanyl in it. It's cut, and it's one of the main things that's killing kids out here who think popping perks is cool. I just lost a participant a week ago in the 6 building in Rikers. I seen them Memorial Day weekend. I left on that Friday, told me I'll be back Tuesday. I came back Tuesday to check on him. He was gone. 19 years old, facing only 2 years of prison time. He's dead right now because he took a fake perk. So you would say that, and that kid is probably in his cell bouncing to that. I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it. And now that kid is gone. What you think is cool. You understand? So what you do is cool, bro. That's your life. But you realize that you're saying it and somebody else is receiving it differently, and they're gonna really implement that in their life. Future probably don't drink as much scissor and lean as he probably rap about, but these kids do. The people that you're rapping to is actually doing it at a high pace, man. Because remember that they're still in poverty, so they don't really have nothing to do but party and drink up. You got interviews and shows, you're doing a lot. So you're not really doing that. So it's not cool. Like when I was promoting certain things, I was really into that lifestyle. I was doing it. So if I told you to drill, I could tell you that because I'm drilling, bro. I just spent the block. I just banged for the bro that got killed last week, or you understand? But if I'm not doing it no more, how can I promote it? I promote what I'm doing, and I'm doing something positive, and I'm doing something that's supposed to pour back into the community, you know? So
Say that piece about not saying the line. I'm trying to get that.
which
Like
one, sis?
not saying the N-word, do a clean version, take things out, be more conscious.
Yeah, so I definitely was more conscious coming to Exodus about my lyrics because of the environment I was in. It even just sounded weird, you know, saying certain things on a mic with certain people in the room, and it challenged me to kind of like to pull it back and to use bigger and better analogies. Flow, Hibachi Flow, he's actually an Exodus artist, and he's, you know, coming out next. He has some amazing projects. He's one of those artists here that pushed me and used to tell me, you know, used to pull me up like, yo, bro, you smart, man. Like, you're so much bigger than that, and these kids look up to you. Like, be more conscious, you know, when you're saying certain things, because, you know, they repeating it. And if you're not saying the N-word in your song, they'll never say it for those 3 minutes. But if you say it, they repeating that, you know, all day long, every time they play your music. And it's almost like you're making it harder for them to stop because, you know, they keep following what you're doing. So I just stopped it. You know, I just turned that well off, and like they don't really get that from me. You know what I mean? So, Yeah.
Do you think hate could become like the N-word?
Yeah. Like reiterate,
No,
hate
that's
can
a
become the
discussion I
N-word.
had between the, like, why don't we make H like a word that you shouldn't say? I don't know.
Well,
Do you think
believe it or
that's-
not, right? I think I single-handedly, and I know my manager here probably laugh and agree with me, I kind of help the people that I'm around every day stop using the N-word. Like dudes that's like around me all the time don't say the N-word, and it's not because I tell them, it's because I replaced it with a word that kind of works, and it's the word joker. Believe it or not, right? So my hair's green. I always considered New York to be like Gotham City. I was from Ghost Town, the land of the zombies and all of that stuff. So I played on that. And the Joker was always like one of my low-key favorite villains and heroes. It's a weird story. But I always use that word, Joker, right? So instead of me saying, like, this nigga crazy, I will always say, like, yo, this Joker is crazy, bro. And dudes started saying that. You know, they'd pull up instead of me saying, yo, what up, my nigga? You were walking home, I'd be like, yo, what up, Joker? And dudes started saying that because it just became like a trend, but then they didn't realize that they was replacing the N-word when they would use that word. You know what I mean? And then now it flows, you know? And that's my contribution to the world. I use the word joker, you know? And you got little jokers and you got big jokers. You decide what you want to be that day. You know what I mean? So
What's your what's your replacement for hate word then?
for the hate word, so like to say like if I hate somebody, oh, dislike. And I get on my kids about that. I just, had to pull my daughter up yesterday when she told my brother, my son, like, oh, I hate you. Because they was arguing about something and I told her, like, we don't use that word in this house. So that's a strong emotion. Like, so if you don't like something, you dislike it. If you don't like something, that means you dislike it. You don't hate anything. Everything was put on this earth for a reason. You like it or you don't, but you don't hate it, And yeah. So,
All right, let's look.
so the night we actually recorded Bigger Than That, we was in the studio, me, Prada Dot, who's on the record, and Eastwood Slim. He's actually an artist signed to Exodus from Syracuse. And we was going through all of these beats, man, and it was like some flunkies, like a couple guys just hanging out in the studio, and they was like, yo, get some drill beats, like, do a drill joint. And Prada like shut it down immediately. He was like, nah, bro, like we not doing that, bro. Like, you understand? Like, yo, it's bigger than that. And that's how we actually got like the name of that song, because he was like, yo, it's bigger than that, bro. And I'm like, yo, you right. And once I agree with him, it kind of like calmed everybody down. It was like, we're not gonna get a drill song tonight. We're gonna do something positive. But I told him, like, yo, it's bigger than that, bro. Like, let's do it. And we found the song and we cooked it up. And it turned out to be an amazing record. But it was only because Prada Dot stood up that night and kind of said no to a negative type of song. It was like, yo, let's do something positive. Like, let's spark something. And there was something that happened. I'm so mad, I don't know, like, the internal incident, but it was something going on that was big in the city. And he was basically saying, like, we need to do something to kind of, like, speak out about it. It was Drewski. DJ Drewski had just put out his statement saying that he wasn't going to be playing any more diss records. And that's what made Prada Dot say, why would we even do a drill song if right now we see that this angle is not even, this is killing people, this is something that people don't want. Drewski is putting a ban on it, let's do something bigger than that. And I was like, let's just do bigger than that. And here we are now.
So how's bigger than that? How are you gonna make that into a movement?
So bigger than that, believe it or not, when Chris Craze, my manager, asked us like what we wanted our cover art to be, we came up with like this Honey I Shrunk the Kids idea. And we was like, yo, we want to be bigger than everything in the city. But like, we want to just be walking through the town, the city, and we want to see like what's going on, like the shooting, somebody being stuck up, you know what I mean? And I asked to have like a gun in front of me because I always want to show that, we put it down first and foremost. But the cartoon characters that we use for that record, it sparked the idea for us to start an anti-bullying cartoon called Bigger Than That. And it's like 15-minute segments of us being in situational things and showing kids a way out or a bigger way to think of it. And, having guest stars come on and do voiceovers, whether it be like a Jim Jones or something. And just like I said, just go through the city and just find little situations. An African kid being bullied because of their garments, or a Spanish kid being teased because of his accent, like, and show, kids lessons in those cartoons that's actually bigger than what they're being taught, right? Cool thing too, we just did a Juneteenth performance, right, on Sunday, and it was a mixed crowd in Prospect Park. And one thing I always love when I watch this documentary is that kids aren't born racist, right? And I got to see it live. It was like this 2-year-old beautiful little white girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, and then it was like this mixed little African American girl with like the curly, beautiful hair, brown skin, but like she walked up to her. And I seen like both of the parents kind of get like a little tense, because you see, you know, African kid walking up to this white kid, but the two kids like stuck out their hands and like started playing with each other at first, and then they just ran off. And it showed that no kid is born with evil intent. No kid is born racist. We teach them that. We put that into them, because you're born innocent. You're born seeing people as human beings, not black, white, Spanish. That's just a human. That's another. And it was just so cool to see that interaction, and that's what innocence looks like. That's what the world should look like every day, you know. But yeah, it's bigger than that, right?
Let me just bring this light back. I know I'm just doing it so it doesn't look dark, you know, black dark. Looks still. Shoot. I didn't even
Look, no, but look, they just sent me the fucking picture.
No person.
I'm sorry.
Nobody bigger than us, than the cars and the jewelries, than the Marys and the Subies. She's big, they tryna make a move, than the drills in the up now. So we gotta make it stop now. She's bigger than us, you can never hit the top now, cause we all get shut down. She's bigger than us.
It's bigger than that. It's bigger than rap. Like if your man give you 5, just give it right back. Low growers to the dime, so he gon' get it right back. Grow with killers in the trenches and they still in the trap. Got a crawl with a snake for they eat with a rat. True story, I'm my brother keeper. But if we cut a line through that fine gangsta, I'm my brother reaper. The thing he did for some new sneakers. The way we stared at them 2-seaters, it was bigger than that. It's a marathon, it's bigger than lives. Use your mind as you saw, homie, it's bigger than gas. It's been the same since they put big in a pack. Since they put big in a pack. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than rap.
Get the ad-libs, got the ad-libs again.
Need to put nigga back in there, put nigga back in there, it's bigger than that, put nigga. No.
I feel like if we put the levels together,
Hold on, we're gonna take it back because you just gotta add this one part right here, alright?
Then the drills in the up now, so we gotta make it stop now. It's bigger than that, you can never hit the top now, cause we all get shut down. It's bigger than that.
Right. It's bigger than that.
Gangsta, right?
It's bigger than rap. Like if your man give you 5, just give it right back. Little bro just hit the dime, so he gon' get it right back. Grow with killers in the trenches and they still in the trap. Got a crawl with a snake for they eat with a rat. True story, I'm my brother keeper. But if we cut a line through that fine gangsta, I'm my brother reaper. Shit we did for some new sneakers. The way we stared at them 2-seaters, it was bigger than that. It's a marathon, it's bigger than lives. Use your mind as you saw, homie, it's bigger than gas. It's been the same since they put big in a pack. Since they put big in a pack. Crazy. It's bigger than that.
Right there.
yeah.
Bigger than rap.
Bigger than that, than the cars and the jewelries, than the Marys and the Subies. She's bigger than that, than the bras and the groupies. They tryna make a movie. She's bigger than that, than the drills in the up now, so we gotta make it stop now. She's bigger than that, you can never hit the top now, cause we all get shut down. She's bigger than that. She's bigger than that.
Got one, man. We got one. You always said you love this record, man. I believe it now. Wait. No funny. When you did that voice, when I said shit we did for some new niggas, you never kept it like that?
I kept it like that. I put a little verb on that piece right there. A little verb, yeah.
That sounds fire like
That was
that.
it. I made it kind of clean right there, you know what I mean? Smoothed it out a little bit.
That sounds fire. I like it.
Nah, I think it's ready, bro.
Like,
Good job, good job.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I like it.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
man.
if we add Prada Dot voice in the beginning, that would
Okay.
be fire. He got a drop too.
Yes,
That's dope.
yes, he got a nice little drop. He did his thing with that. It was excellent. It was nice and smooth. It kind of summed up.
We got to
the
take out the
song.
"What Up, Bop" though. We might have to take.
Nah, we ain't taking out What Up,
It's gonna
Bob.
extend the song too long. Chuck.
What up, Bob? It's going down,
Come
baby.
on,
Good
man.
job, good job,
Okay,
Joe.
I'm getting
Good
bored,
job.
so make some stuff happen here.
Then the drills in the up now. See, we gotta make it stop now. See, it's bigger than that. You can never hit the top now. Cause we all get shut down. See, it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that, gangsta. It's bigger than rap. Like if your man give you 5, just give it right back. Little bro is in the dime, so he gon' get it right back. Grow with killers in the trenches and they still in the trap. Got a crawl with a snake for they eat with a rap. True story, I'm my brother keeper. But if you cut a line through that line, gangsta, I'm my brother whisper. Shit we did for some new sneakers. The way we stared at them 2-seaters, it was bigger than that. It's a marathon in the pack.
Chris, just go closer and you can keep bobbing. And then play the track and then stop.
You can never hit the top now. Cause we all get shut down. See, it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that, gangster. It's bigger than rap. Like if your man give you 5, just give it right back. Lil' bro gets sick of dime, so he gon' get it right back. Grew up with killers in the trenches and they still in the trap. Got a crawl with a snake for they eat with a rat. True story, I'm my brother keeper. But if we cut a line through that line, gangsta, I'm my brother reaper. Shit we did for some new sneakers. The way we stared at them 2-seaters, it was bigger than that. It's a marathon, it's bigger than lives. Use your mind as your soul, homie, it's bigger than gas. It's been the same since they put big in a pack. Since they put big in a pack.
Yeah, that was the first drill kill.
Bigger than rap.
Like the first drill kill.
Bigger than that. Than the cars and the jewelries. Than the Marys and the Subies. See, it's bigger than that. Than the bras and the groupies. They try to make a movie. See, it's bigger than that. Than the drills in the up now. See, we gotta make it stop now. See, it's bigger than that. You can never hit the top now. Cause we all get shut down. See, it's bigger than that. See, it's bigger than that.
How you do this, man?
Yo, I think that's ready.
Yeah, that's
I
it,
think
Bob.
that's ready right there.
They ready for this one.
A little bit, yeah.
You can never hit the top now. Cause we all get shut down. It's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that, gangsta. It's bigger than rap. Like if your man give you 5, just give it right back. Lil' bro is sick of dime, so he gon' get it right back. Grew up with killers in the trenches and they still in the trap. Got a crawl with a snake for they eat with a rat. True story, I'm my brother keeper. But if we cut a line through that line, gangsta, I'm my brother reaper. Shit we did for some new sneakers. The way we stared at them 2-seaters, it was bigger than that. It's a marathon, it's bigger than lives. Use your mind as your soul, homie, it's bigger than gas. It's been the same since they put big in a pack.
Red button, Bob.
Since they put big in a pack. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than rap.
Bigger than that. Than the cars and the jewelry. You can never.
Ooh, that's tight. That's tight.
Yeah, it
That's tight.
is.
That's tight.
Okay, and then you wanna, go ahead, turn it into the camera. Too much here. You want it like this? Step on top of the X. Okay, right there, boom. Now turn and turn to us.
And then after
Should it
you
be a
do
slow turn?
Yeah, do a slow turn. It feels
Keanu
weird,
Reeves,
but it looks
And then
good.
cross your arms and you do it.
And
Like,
after you look at the camera, then just do another thing that feels
Cross them like this
comfortable.
already?
you know, like.
Or whatever feels natural to you.
Okay, alright.
It's almost like this is when you can look in the camera.
Cause the way I'm envisioning it is like I'm looking at it like I'm proud.
That's exactly right.
Extras, man.
That's
Correct.
exactly it.
Okay, let's do that again, a couple more times. do it smooth, like you know, it's a cool thing.
Like I'm cool like that. Cool like that.
Come on, Joe.
I'm sorry. One more time. Cause I gotta look at the sun.
No, you don't have to. It's just an attitude.
Oh.
It's an attitude. Do it again and just hold it.
That's nice as you look right where you were looking, and then just look
This is
up.
what it look like. Ready?
Don't make him laugh.
Yeah, I was not, I like when you were looking off, you were just looking off, you were like looking down to your right. And then now just look right in the camera. Yep. That's nice too.
Yeah, that's all. Cool like that.
Step back.
Step back. I gotta
Do it one more time.
Chris, make me laugh, though.
Mm-mm.
Oh, don't laugh.
No, yes, dude.
So right where you are, just pivot like this.
You know, you could do,
Whatever. Yeah, pivot like.
Come on, let's show you how to do it.
You get in there too.
Right.
Where's your hat?
What's our hat?
Here, here.
Sharing it.
Like step in, give him a high five.
High five.
that's it.
Do it again. Step back, Chris.
Do we look at the camera?
Yeah,
Step over a little
after,
bit.
after you agree
We
to
got
each
our
other.
own handshake too.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
But just stay in here. This is the spot. Okay, and go.
On the big X.
Oh,
X choke. Yeah, no choke. So how we do that pivot thing again? We just look back and
Yeah, both, that'd be nice. If you both look at Exodus and then both look at camera, just
And
like
then
you are now.
hold it.
No talking.
No talk.
those.
One more, just like that for safety. That was great. One before. We got it.
Okay.
'Cause you're
so-
an artist and
But he does the community thing. Let's talk about
is
community.
there a
kids.
title that you have?
Oh, can I have your phone so it doesn't have a hum on the microphone? That's what I have.
Sure, I didn't have my other
Community
phone.
Director or something?
Yeah, I'm the my specific title is Director of Outreach.
Great, that's perfect. So let's
Are you
just start-
squinting too much? Is it too bright? Because you're not. Your
Oh,
eyes
I'm
are
sorry.
not. Tilt your head down. Tilt your head down a little bit. Right now, just talk normal.
Sorry.
Maybe relax yourself. Relax.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
relax,
Chilling.
cross
Okay.
your legs or something. Yeah, so you're right. Relax.
Cool.
Just talk to her. And I want to check
So
this
just, you start, just tell me your name and your title. You're looking at me the whole time,
Got it.
as hard as that is.
Yeah. My name is George Bailey. I'm the Director of Outreach for Exodus's Center for Trauma Innovation.
Yeah? Or let's just do that one more time.
Sit up a little bit. Just up and yeah, there you go.
Sorry. So yeah, my name is George Bailey. My exact title is the Director of Outreach for
One more time.
George Bailey, Director of Outreach.
got it. George Bailey, Director.
And go.
George Bailey, Director of Outreach for Exodus Center for Trauma Innovation.
So what exactly does that mean? What do you do here?
Basically, I spread the word about all of the great stuff Exodus is doing, and with our CTI
Hold on,
department.
Can we just do it one, this just one
Yeah,
off,
go,
right?
go.
Do you mind just, it's just a sound thing, just start
No
again with
problem.
your name and the title.
Got it.
Roll that 3, 2.
George Bailey, Director of Outreach for Exodus Center for Trauma Innovation.
Don't squint.
God, I'm trying.
That's it. Here, just relax.
Mhm.
My name is, and then go into it again.
So again, got it. My name is George Bailey. I'm with Exodus. I'm sorry. My name is George Bailey, the Director of Outreach for Exodus Center for Trauma Innovation.
Great. So tell me a little bit about Exodus and what it is you do.
So Exodus is a re-entry organization. It's a nonprofit. What we do is we help people coming back from prison, basically help them holistically. So if they need help with finding a job, finding housing, anything that they may need to just get accustomed back to being in society, we will help them with.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? There were three, sorry, I'm just trying to look at my notes. I'm sorry, okay, community. Yeah, just tell me a little bit more about how does Exodus work within the community? How do you get people to know about you?
Well, I really feel like it's just really the good work that they've been doing.
So how Exodus works in the community?
Yeah, so Exodus works in the community by, always taking care of every individual that comes in the door. One of the first things that caught my attention, because I was also a participant, was that as soon as I walked in, they asked me, how did I eat? They asked me, where I slept last night. Those were the main concerns that they had. And I think that that's what helps them get out into the community, because it's just a sense of care that you don't get at a lot of other places or organizations that do similar work.
And can you tell us how did you become involved with them?
So I was previously incarcerated, and I got involved with Exodus because I was looking for work. I was in work release, so I was only out for a few hours, and I had to find work within those few hours, and I was having a difficult time doing that. A friend went to Exodus, told me about his experience there, so it made me come, and I've been here ever since.
What are some of the rewarding things that what's the most rewarding thing for you to be working here?
The most rewarding thing for me working at Exodus is that I don't feel like I'm working. I have a job where I'm helping people constantly, and I get to come out into the community and meet with people and just bring them in and let them see all of the amazing work that we're doing. So it doesn't feel like work. I'm networking because I feel like I'm more attached to the mission and the cause than anything else.
Can you just talk a little bit more specifically about some of the programs here?
So we have a lot of different programs. At Exodus, we actually expanded during the pandemic a lot. We only had about 40 people. Now we're at almost 300, I believe. So our main program that we have, mostly a lot of the participants come to, is called Wilderness, where basically they have a week of job training and skills training, and it helps them, build their resume and build different job skills and interview skills so they can go out and find a job.
Is Exodus mostly here in Manhattan?
No, so we have a few locations. We have, Exodus has a location in Manhattan. We also have locations in Poughkeepsie and Newburgh. And then we also have several hotels that we manage for people coming home that were impacted by COVID inside of Rikers. So since they're letting a lot of people out of Rikers, we have 6 different hotels. I believe we have 3 in Queens, 1 in Brooklyn, and 2 in Manhattan, I believe.
Here I said, what I was looking for before, it says that the approaches towards rehabilitation here, the holistic, personal, and collaborative, right?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Forget that shit. Let me just ask, we're doing a special on hate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find, can you talk a little bit about, like, are people coming in, or have you experienced hate yourself, or like, what's your feeling in terms of where, why there's so much hate right now?
I mean, honestly, I feel like there's a lot of hate out in the world right now because people hate themselves. It has less to do with the outside. I think there's a lot of like anxiety and self-sabotaging going on. So people are closed-minded to how, other people feel, or how other people want to be treated because they're absorbed in themselves.
Does Exodus, are you feeling that the program, we found a lot of programs here in the city, the state, the government is running.
Mm-hmm.
Does Exodus, as you work with the community, are you seeing an impact from the government with the people in the community for support?
Like there's
I'm trying to think of how to answer that. I feel like a lot of people have so much on their plate that they're not concerned with government. They're not concerned with what's going on with politics and things of that nature. I think they just have like one direction of what they want and what's gonna serve them best. So I think that's what they go with. But I feel like on a lower spectrum, a lot of the things that, you know, politics are concerned with, people in the community are not concerned with. They're concerned about their day to day and how they're gonna get to the next day.
We've done some interviews in Brooklyn. We talked to the Brooklyn DA, and they have a new anti-hate task force.
Wow.
I think that's what we're wondering. Like, do you think people in the community are aware that there's a new anti-hate task force in Brooklyn?
No, I don't think people are aware that there's an anti-hate task force. I think that it's a start in the right direction, but I feel like in order for them to get more involvement in the community, they have to be in the community. They have to come out here to these neighborhoods that are impoverished, come out to these neighborhoods that don't have the resources that their kids have or that their people have where they're living at, and they need to come and, you know, really get a daily assessment of what's going on.
They feel that they are. Have you seen any traction in your community members with support for the city?
I don't feel like they are. I don't think that they're actually coming here and really seeing what people have to go through. You know, when you walk down some of these blocks, you'll see human feces. You'll see all kind of, you know, addiction. And you really have to be here constantly every day. Like they have, you know, they have police out here. I'll see certain sergeants or, you know, other community activists or community workers, we're out here every day. But as far as politicians and things, I don't see that. And in order for them to really work on what our issues are, they have to be here to know what it is.
What do you think what does that look like? What would that look like to your community who you interact with, your members? What should that look like?
What it looks like to me is actually coming out here and tabling, you know, not, you know, just talking about it on the news. Like, you have to be here constantly. You have to pick an area and work on that area until you find a solution. And then you could probably bring it to the next area. But until you're here really getting, you know, a grasp of what's going on, you're just getting you're getting it from a third party. You're getting it from somebody telling you how they feel, and you have to feel it yourself.
As the voice for your community members that you work with, what's something that you want them, what's some struggles that you see directly?
I really feel like addiction is a big problem that we have in this community. And I just feel like we have to sit down and figure out different ways to accommodate those people, because they are sick and they're going through, you know, they're going through an illness, and they need to be treated as such. I feel like they're ignored a lot of times. You know, it's a lot of homeless people out, and they're homeless because they either have, you know, addictions or mental health illness, and it's not being addressed correctly. And I would want more involvement from, you know, community leaders, from politicians, from police officers on trying to help people and not really cause more harm. And not to say that they don't, because I do see that there are officers out here that do help out. But I just want it more holistically. Like I think it's more of a system problem than it is individual, you know, officers or anybody that's out here doing community work.
That's good.
You want to, what about education?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that and the role that plays.
Well, education, I think that's a large spectrum to talk about, because I don't think education just stays in the classroom. You know, I think people need to be educated. They need to educate themselves. I really feel like a lot of times we put too much power, not power, but we put too much emphasis on teachers and what they need to do. And it starts at home. And a lot of times, you know, parents are dealing with so much. You know, they're dealing with trying to figure out how to feed their children, trying to figure out how to get by day to day and, you know, make sure that their kids are successful, where I think that a lot of times they're drained. They don't have the time to really sit down and, you know, educate as much as they would like to. So I just feel like we need to address a lot of the issues in the community in order for people to be able to have the freedom to educate themselves the way that they need to.
Wipe your sweat.
Sorry.
No, I don't want you. One more
Do you
time.
have
Brush your foot.
do you have a,
Yep. One more time. One more time. Do it really one more time.
Um,
One more time.
oh,
On the hairline. Yep. Okay, good. He did it. Back.
thank you.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want you to wet, you know?
It's okay.
So my question is gonna be.
that was great, by the
That's
way.
great.
You're doing
Yeah,
great.
all this is great.
Thank you.
You're mad, you're home, your mother, you're not getting the money you want, right?
Mhm.
Is this building up some type of like hatred between your, you know, society and the parent? I'm trying to make the connection between being just frustrated and that frustrating turns into like a hatred
Right.
kind of thing.
Right.
Are you seeing anything like that or some kind of anything building up? This is all speculative.
So again, I think what the issue is that I think being with everything that's going on, and not to say that things aren't constantly going on, but right now with COVID and things of that nature, it's just I think everybody has like high anxiety, right? And you know, if you hate your situation, if you hate what you're going through, it's not easy for you to be aware of other people's needs, right? So when you're outside and you see all of these shootings that's going on, right? And you know, a lot of times they'll tell you it's like different gang rivalries and things of that nature, and I don't think that that's the case. Even though I think it plays a part, I think more of it is that people are upset with their situation. They hate that they have to wake up every day in these type of environments, and you know, they lash out. I don't think it's anything personal. I think they just are. They don't have an outlet, so they just do anything, you know. So it's not necessarily, I don't want to say necessarily hate all the time. I think that people are anxious and they're looking for a way out. They're looking for how to help themselves and they don't have that answer. So they just come out and just, you know, they lash out.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Dead on. Dead on.
How about just talk a little bit more, or just about the mentoring that you do?
So I don't necessarily do too much mentoring anymore.
No worries,
Okay.
Then that's fine. Is there anything?
I mean, I'd feed it. You know, I think with anything, right? I think that it's just another form of outlet, right? It's just another form of me expressing myself. Where one person might see it as defacing it, that person might see it as, you know, I'm making it look nicer. You know, to me, this is something that I want to see in my community. This is what I want to do. So one person might say, hey, you know, that's vandalizing. But this person is, you know, just expressing themselves in an artistic way. And again, I think that we don't have the awareness to know that, okay, what I might see as me making this look nice, somebody else might have a problem with. And how do we come to an agreement with that? How do we fix that? And it just takes people to be open-minded and be able to talk and be able to share ideas and, you know, share their feelings. A lot of times we're keeping our feelings inside. That's what we've been taught to do. You know, growing up, it's like you hide your feelings because you feel like you're going to be taken advantage of. You feel vulnerable. So that's, you know, that's something that we have to re-educate ourselves in. And we have to educate ourselves in learning how to share our feelings and talk with each other and get to know your side of the story and get to know your viewpoints. And you know, we could come to terms with that. But it's hard to get that conversation started.
Do you think that's a way to overcome hate as well?
Absolutely. It takes, you know, being comfortable with people, being able to not feel, being able to feel vulnerable without feeling like you're going to be attacked. Or being put down for how you feel and how you view things. You want to be able to sit at the table and know that you have a voice and that you're going to really be heard and come to some kind of solution, and it's not just one way.
Is any great examples with some of the community members you're working with? Anything come up recently that this happened and was breakthrough? Like recently?
So recently we had, there was an Asian man that died in the community. He was, I believe he was,
Someone's saying. Sorry.
no problem.
Start from recently.
Yeah, recently there was a Asian man that died in the community. He was beaten up really bad. He passed away. I believe in a hospital he passed away. And you know, we had a lot of people from the Asian community come out to 125th. They came and they gathered together and they rallied, and we rallied with them. And you know, I had a few discussions with a couple of the organizations that were there, and we talked about doing like basically like a board or like a panel to where we could have some youth from the community come in, and we could have some people from the Asian community come in, like some of the older generation, and really sit down and talk about what their concerns is and how they feel unsafe and how we can help them with that. And you know, it's sad that, you know, he had to pass away in order for us to have these type of conversations, because I think that that is what will help us. You know, if we have people out here that will attack an Asian man just because he's Asian, right? And we could come to the table with those people and get to understand like what's going on, like what is happening that you feel like that's okay, and really hold them accountable. And, you know, talk about what different solutions are within our community and not getting other people involved. I think that's a start to, you know, moving in the right direction and try to cure the hate that's going on.
That's great. Well, let's ask one more good question, 'cause I just turned the machine off. That's great.
How about just your I know you mentioned it before, but how about yourself? How much you've grown? You know, how much you've grown? Like, how have you remained? You know, going through some of the challenges. How have you remained so optimistic?
I feel like I've grown a lot. In my past, I'm extremely ignorant, I would say, you know? And it took for me, I don't think prison helped me. I think a lot of people say that all the time. I think what it was me taking the time out to really focus on myself that helped me, to really sit down and read and really, you know, try to embrace other ideas and being open-minded, as I was speaking to before. I feel like I was really homophobic before my time in prison. And when I came home, you know, just working with all of the people that we work with a lot of different demographics. And I had to work with a lot of people from the LGBTQ community, which was a first for me because I wasn't really around them. And it took for me to have those conversations and really learn and speak with people from that community to really just understand that they just human beings, just like I am. And they're trying to figure it out day by day, just like I am. And you know, I think it's just sitting down and try to find a connection with people. I'm not sure if I answered the question.
That's beautiful. That was amazing. Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And how are you now? Now do you know, embrace?
You know,
just talk about that for 1 second.
Yeah. Right now, I'm honestly shocked. I'm kind of shocked at the person that I am, or I'm trying to, you know, become every day. You know, just trying to get better, and just, you know, I like to focus on me. If I see an issue, or if I see something I don't like, I try to focus on what I'm doing about it. Because a lot of people are going to talk about it. A lot of people are going to bring up their concerns and what their problems are, and then I don't see a lot of people really sitting back reflecting on how they're adding to it. And that's my thing, is trying to focus on what the solution is. What can I do to go outside and really change what I don't like? Or try to figure out what it is in me that's making me not like it, or if it's really affecting my community, or is this just something that I have a personal issue with.
You said that the jail time didn't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk about that. Why didn't it help you?
I don't feel like prison is the answer. I feel like I went through a lot of traumatic experiences in prison. And like I said, I think that it was more so the time that I had, because I didn't have to worry about, you know, paying any bills. I didn't have to worry about anybody else's issues. I think all I had to worry about was me getting out physically and mentally. Because I think that I had to think about a lot of the different decisions and choices that I was making that put me in that position. And I think just like I said earlier about people not having that time because they're too busy in a hustle and bustle every day. They're trying to figure out how to make it work, how to make sure that their family is straight and get to the next day. And I didn't have to worry about that so much in there because it was out of my hands. It was nothing that I could do but sit down and really think about, all of my bad choices and how I could get better.
When you thought about those bad choices, though, how did it make you not hate? Like,
I'm sorry, say that
how
again?
did it make you not get angry and hate the things that got you there?
I didn't hate what got me there. I think more so I just was ignorant to the plan that I was playing into. I had a chance to sit back and read things like, Willie Lynch letters, right? And see how they basically tried to play slaves against each other, in order for it to make it work for a longer time, a longer period of time. And I think that a lot of that plays into what we do today. And I don't have time to hate on the next person. I have time to reflect on me and try to make the best of the situations that I feel like a lot of us were already put into, that we were born into. These are issues that we've been having for years, decades, hundreds of years, and I think that it's time that people have to think about now, and like I said, reflect on their choices and what they're doing. Hating anything is not going to solve the issue. Coming up with a solution, being open-minded, talking about it, that's what's going to help get to a better state.
Stop for me. Step me. One step. Oh, I can't hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I feel like Mayor Adams, he put like a big focus on drill music, and the problem that it's causing. But I just feel like, music in our community is very big. It's very influential. But I don't think that you could pinpoint that as to why people are out shooting and doing these things. Gangs have existed for decades. Rap music has been here. Movies have been here. There's plenty of other influences, right? Whereas I look at it, we have a brand new studio here at Exodus that we help artists come in and record. And I really don't want to put, any stipulations as to what they can say when they come in, because at the end of the day, it's art. And they're expressing themselves. And they're not, I don't think they're trying to promote violence, but what they're doing is expressing the violence that they've been traumatized with. This is things that are going on in their community, right? And they want to come on the record and talk about it. So I don't think the focus should be on drill music. The focus needs to be on the traumatizing events that's going on in their community and how we could get together and stop that. But that's my piece.
He didn't say that.
Can you just explain what drill music is?
Drill music is like a certain type of beat, and then it's basically artists getting on and they're talking about, different gangs and, what happened in the community and how they're going to either retaliate or how they've been attacked.
Different drill, right? Isn't each borough, or each?
I mean, it's hard to say. They have drill music in UK. That's really, I think, where it originated from.
When did you, this is great, did you feel like Eric, did you hear a response of Eric saying something about that? I mean, I don't know that.
I remember he held like it was like a media press conference, and it was like a bunch of drill rappers he had got together to talk about it. I know there were certain concerts that were canceled because they felt like it wasn't safe, because it was drill music and it was artists. But I just feel like you wouldn't do that with any other genre, right? There's other genres of music that talk about violence and they talk about things that are not healthy to the community, and you wouldn't stop them from having a concert because you felt unsafe. You just know that it's a form of art, and you treated as such. So I think that the artists here need to be treated the same way. It's just an art and they're expressing themselves. Now, what people do when they look at that art is a different story. And like I said, it needs to be more programs, it needs to be more media attention for, you know, things like Exodus or other programs that are helping out in the community to help stop these different events from happening, so they wouldn't get on the record and talk about, you know, how their best friend got murdered and how they're gonna, you know, cope with that or how they're gonna retaliate. And, you know, it would just be a different narrative. I think they need to focus on the positive things going on and put media on that to help, you know, help change that story or help change what these kids' lyrics are.
Do you feel that the lyrics are, was he talking about the lyrics inciting the violence, inciting the hate?
Or glorifying.
Glorifying.
Right. I think he is talking about it glorifying. Yeah, Eric Adams, I feel like he is basically saying that drill music is, you know, exciting violence. But at the same time, like I said, you could watch certain movies that I feel like is exciting violence. Are you going to take them out the movie theater? Are you going to stop people from going to see it? No. Like, it's a form of entertainment. It's a form of art. And like I said, the problem is like we're doing too much cure and not enough prevention, right? It starts with the prevention. It starts with what are we doing in these communities so these kids don't have to constantly see that. Give them something else to talk about.
Let me know when you look back up. Just keep going. Do it a couple times. Just hold.
Okay, and you can look up. Okay.
Do that again.
So
Bring it
after you
on high.
adjust your hat and then strike the album cover code. And looking up. I know it might feel not comfortable.
Cheat him higher.
Cheat on across a little high.
It's only up here. It's only up here.
So, like, just higher, like this?
Yeah, you know, or do, just so I can see it.
It's a cheat. It's a cheat.
It looks crazy,
It's a
but
cheat.
we're only getting this. So if you do an arm cross and that's, you know, we're not seeing it because it's too low.
Okay.
So I know it might.
He can do this. You know he can do it? You know, he can do it. Do it again. Just do it like it's fluid. That's a good one. Do it one more time. My light turned. Not too bad. One more time. Can you take one step this way? Yep. Go, no, come back. Yeah, okay, good. Go. Try now.
Now just do one where it's just, you don't even fix your, you know, it's just, you just tilt your head to look.
Do that again. Do that again.
Security.
That's good. Just one more, just look down, and then look at the camera, and then just glance off again. And now look back at the camera, and look down. Nice. One more time, looking up. Your camera, and then look off. And one more time, looking at the camera,
To chin
and
down.
down.
And now look to that old corner. And come back one more time.
Good.
Do this, do this.